The massive space station hung in the darkness like a crystal jewel. Its walls were made of some alien material that glowed with soft blue light. Inside the main chamber, creatures from 47 different worlds sat in a huge circle. Some had 4 arms, others looked like living gas trapped in metal suits. A few had scales that changed color when they got angry or scared. Admiral Jake Morrison stood alone in the center of the room. He was a tall man with gray hair and deep lines around his eyes. His blue uniform was clean and pressed, but he looked tired. Very tired. Behind him, empty chairs showed where other humans should have been sitting. The aliens had sent them away 3 months ago after what they called the incident. The leader of this meeting was Chancellor Vexai. He came from a world near the star Altair. His people had 4 arms and skin that looked like smooth stone. When he spoke, all 4 of his arms moved at once. His voice was deep and seemed to come from somewhere in his chest. "We are here to decide what to do about the humans," Vexai said. The words came out of a small device that made his alien sounds into English. "They have broken our rules too? Many times. They fight when they should talk. They take land that does not belong to them. They make babies too fast and spread across space like a disease." Morrison felt his hands form fists behind his back. He forced himself to stay calm. Getting angry would only make things worse for his people. Another alien spoke up. This one was from the Zephyr worlds. Her body was made of gas and light contained inside a clear suit that let her move around. When she talked, musical sounds came from speakers on her suit. "The humans are dangerous," she said. Her voice sounded like wind chimes in a storm. "They came to our space 20 years ago saying they wanted peace. But look what happened. They built weapons on our trade routes. They fought our security forces. They refused to follow the rules that keep peace in our galaxy." "That's not true," Morrison said. His voice was steady but loud enough for everyone to hear. "We came in peace. We offered to trade with you. We shared our knowledge about medicine and farming. When your people attacked our colony ships near Vega, we defended ourselves. When your mining companies tried to make slaves of our workers, we said no. If that makes us criminals, then yes, we are criminals." A creature that looked like a walking tree with too many eyes spoke next. Elder Thalmos was older than anyone in the room. His people had been traveling between stars for thousands of years before humans even learned to make fire. "The question is not what happened in the past," Thalmos said. His voice sounded like wind through leaves. "The question is what we do now. Humans are too dangerous to live among civilized species. They must be removed." Morrison looked around the room. Every alien face he could see showed the same thing: fear. They were all afraid of humans. Not because humans were evil or cruel, but because humans were different. Humans fought back when others tried to control them. Humans explored new places, even when it was dangerous. Humans never gave up, even when things looked hopeless. "You want us gone because you can't control us," Morrison said. "You've built a nice, safe galaxy where everyone follows the same rules. Where the strong species tell the weak ones what to do, where nobody questions authority. Then humans showed up and ruined your perfect system." Vexai's 4 arms waved, in what Morrison recognized as anger. "Humans are chaos," the Chancellor said. "You fight wars over ideas. You change your governments every few years. You spread to new worlds without asking permission. You make weapons that could destroy planets. How can we trust a species that kills its own kind over the color of their skin or the gods they worship?" "Because we learned," Morrison replied. "We made mistakes. Terrible mistakes. We fought wars that killed millions. We poisoned our own world. We almost destroyed ourselves with nuclear weapons. But we learned from those mistakes. We got better. We stopped fighting each other and started working together. That's what you really fear. Not that we're violent, but that we get stronger every time we face a problem." The room fell silent. Morrison could hear the hum of the station's power systems and the soft sounds of alien breathing. Finally, Vexai stood up to his full height, all 4 of his arms spread wide. "The time for debate is over," he announced. "We will vote. All in favor of exiling humanity from civilized space, activate your crystals. Around the room, glowing crystals began to light up. Red light for yes, blue light for no. Morrison watched as crystal after crystal turned red. 47 species. 47 red lights. Not one blue light in the entire chamber. The vote is unanimous, Vexhai declared. By the power of the Galactic Council, humanity is banished from all civilized space. You have 72 hours to gather your people and leave. Any human ship found in Council territory after that time will be destroyed without warning. Morrison reached into his pocket and pulled out a small communication device. He pressed a button and spoke clearly. This is Admiral Morrison to all human ships and colonies. Operation Exodus begins now. All military and civilian personnel are to begin immediate evacuation procedures. We're going home, people. And we're taking everyone with us. He put the device away and looked around the room one more time. These aliens thought they had solved their human problem. They thought exile would make humans disappear like a bad dream. They had no idea what they had just done. You made a mistake today, Morrison told the assembled aliens. You think sending us away will make you safer. You think humans will crawl back to Earth and hide like frightened children. You don't understand us at all. He walked toward the exit, his boots clicking on the crystal floor. At the doorway, he stopped and turned back. We didn't ask to come to your galaxy, he said. We came because we thought we could be friends. We thought we could learn from each other and build something better together. You've shown us that's impossible. Fine, we'll remember this day. All of us will remember. Morrison left the chamber. Behind him, the aliens began celebrating their victory. They had no way of knowing that the small smile on Morrison's face meant their troubles with humanity were just beginning. Lieutenant Commander Lisa Carter stood on the bridge of her ship watching the last human transport leave the Proxima Centauri system. The big cargo vessel moved slowly, heavy with families and their belongings. Behind it, 3 alien warships kept their weapons pointed at the human fleet. The aliens wanted to make sure every human left and never came back. All civilian ships are clear, reported her communications officer. 17,000 people from the mining stations, 8,000 from the research bases. Everyone is accounted for. Carter nodded and looked at her navigation screen. To the alien ships watching them, it looked like she was planning the route home to Earth. What they could not see were the secret data packets being sent on hidden frequencies. Information about alien ship designs, star maps, and military positions flowed back to Earth's commanders. Every retreat gave humanity more knowledge about their enemies. On the farming world of Kepler 452c, Colonel Ben Hayes watched his team strip the agricultural center down to bare metal. The Altarians wanted this planet badly. Their own worlds were dying, and they needed the food production facilities that humans had built here over 15 years. Take everything, Hayes told his people. Every seed, every genetic template, every bit of farming knowledge. If we grew it, we pack it up and take it home. Major Kate Sullivan looked confused. Sir, the treaty says we can only take personal items and basic supplies. This looks like we're stealing their property. Hayes turned to face her. His eyes were hard and cold. The treaty says we can take what we need to preserve human life. Food preserves human life. These seeds and genetic codes will feed our people. For generations, load every last bit of it. The work continued around the clock. Human engineers carefully dismantled equipment that the aliens thought was just farming machinery. Hidden inside the food processors and irrigation systems were advanced computer systems that controlled everything. The aliens would get empty buildings. The real technology was going back to Earth. In the Vega asteroid belt, Captain Danny Roberts supervised the most important evacuation of all. His mining crews worked frantically to load special cargo containers. The alien observers thought they were just collecting personal belongings and basic mining tools. They had no idea what humans had really found in the asteroids. Deep in the rocks, human miners had discovered veins of exotic matter. This strange substance could store massive amounts of energy and bend the rules of physics. A piece the size of a fist could power a battleship for months. It could also be used to build weapons and communication systems that would make human technology far superior to anything the aliens possessed. 59 hours left, Roberts announced to his crew. Make every minute count. Our grandchildren will thank us for what we're doing today. The exotic matter was packed in containers that looked like they held scrap metal and mining waste. The aliens scanning the cargo hold saw exactly what they expected to see. They never suspected that humanity's future was hidden right under their noses, back on Earth. President Helen Clark sat in the emergency meeting room deep beneath the Capitol. Around the table, generals, admirals, and scientists reported on the evacuation progress. Everyone looked grim but determined. How much time do we have? Clark asked. General Frank Cooper checked his tablet. Full evacuation will be complete in 56 hours. But, Madame President, the aliens have no idea what they've just started. Dr. Amanda Foster leaned forward with excitement barely controlled on her face. The secret data storage systems worked perfectly. Every human facility was equipped with quantum storage devices. We've been preparing for this possibility for 3 years. All our research, all our discoveries, all our strategic information is safely backed up. What about the sleeper protocol? Clark asked quietly. Fully activated, Cooper confirmed. 30,000 deep cover agents scattered across 47 alien worlds. They look like ordinary humans who married aliens or took jobs in alien space. The aliens think they've removed all humans from their territory. They have no idea how many of our people are still out there, watching and waiting. Dr. Foster pulled up a holographic display showing the galaxy. Thousands of red dots marked human positions throughout alien space. These agents have been building networks for years. They know alien languages, alien customs, alien technology. Some of them have children who look completely alien but carry human DNA. When the time comes, we'll have eyes and ears in every major alien government. Clark studied the display. How long until we're ready for the next phase? 18 months minimum, replied Admiral Steve Patterson. We need time to analyze all the intelligence we're gathering, process the exotic matter samples, and build new ships with advanced technology. But, Madam President, when we do return to alien space, they won't recognize us. In a secret facility on the far side of the moon, Commander Pete Anderson watched construction teams work on humanity's most classified project. The new ships taking shape in the hidden shipyards looked nothing like traditional human vessels. They were sleek and angular, built with alien technology that had been reverse-engineered over years of careful study. How many ships will be ready for the first wave? Anderson asked as Chief Engineer Maria Santos consulted her construction schedules. 50 ships in the first squadron, sir. Each one faster and more powerful than anything the Galactic Council has ever built. The stealth systems alone will make them invisible to alien sensors. Anderson smiled grimly. The aliens thought they had seen human technology at its best. They had no idea that humans had been holding back, learning, studying, and preparing for this day. Every trade agreement had been an opportunity to examine alien ships. Every diplomatic meeting had been a chance to scan alien equipment. Every peaceful contact had been preparation for war. The evacuation continued across human space. To alien observers, it looked like a defeated species fleeing with their tails between their legs. They saw cargo ships heavy with refugees and personal belongings. They saw humans crying as they left homes they had built over generations. What they did not see were the hidden compartments full of alien technology, the encrypted communications coordinating resistance cells, and the carefully planted agents who would remain behind to gather intelligence. They did not see the samples of exotic matter that would revolutionize human science, or the detailed scans of alien ships and weapons that would give humanity decisive advantages in future conflicts. Most importantly, they did not see the look in human eyes. Not defeat, but determination. Not fear, but cold calculation. The aliens had made the mistake of thinking that exile would break human spirit. Instead, it had focused that spirit like a laser beam on a single goal, returning stronger than before. The 72-hour deadline approached, and the last human ships prepared to leave alien space. Behind them, alien governments celebrated their victory over the dangerous human species. Ahead of them, Earth waited with open arms and secret preparations for the war that would surely come. Humanity had learned an important lesson from the Exile. In a galaxy full of species that feared change and innovation, the ability to adapt and overcome was the ultimate weapon. The aliens wanted humans gone because they represented chaos in their ordered universe they were about to discover. That chaos, properly directed, could reshape entire civilizations. Earth's orbit filled with ships like never before in human history. Thousands of vessels streamed in from every corner of human space, creating a massive fleet around humanity's homeworld. Colony ships as big as cities floated next to sleek military cruisers. Mining vessels heavy with exotic cargo shared space with research ships. Carrying years of alien intelligence, Admiral Steve Patterson stood in Earth Defense Command watching the tactical displays with quiet satisfaction. Numbers scrolled across his screen showing the greatest gathering of human power ever assembled. Every ship that had fled alien space was now home, along with crews and passengers who carried invaluable knowledge about their former enemies. "Final count, sir," reported Colonel Nancy Wright. 237 military ships, 412 civilian transports, 18 deep space research vessels. Total evacuees, 1.2 million people. Patterson's expression darkened. Casualties during withdrawal? 17 ships lost to alien attacks during the evacuation. 347 souls. Wright's voice carried the weight of those losses. These were not just numbers on a report. They were families, scientists, miners, and farmers who had believed in humanity's peaceful future among the stars. "The aliens will pay for every single life," Patterson said quietly. His words were not a threat, but a promise. In the deep bunkers beneath the Rocky Mountains, Dr. Emma Davis worked with an urgency that bordered on obsession. The exotic matter samples from Vega had arrived just hours earlier, and her team was already making discoveries that challenged everything they knew about physics. "The energy density readings are incredible," she reported to the military leadership, through a secure holographic connection. "A piece the size of my fist could power a battleship for 6 months at full capacity. But the weapons applications are even more impressive." General Ray Thompson leaned forward. "How soon can we weaponize this material?" "With proper funding and unlimited resources, 6 months for basic energy weapons. 2 years for advanced applications." "But sir, there's something else that might be more important than weapons. The quantum resonance properties suggest we could build a communication network that covers the entire galaxy with no time delay." The implications hit everyone in the room at once. Instant communication across galactic distances would give humanity a decisive advantage over any enemy. While alien fleets took days or weeks to coordinate across star systems, human forces could act as a single unified entity. President Helen Clark entered the command center, and every person in the room stood at attention. Her presence commanded respect not just because of her office, but because of her reputation for making hard decisions when humanity's survival was at stake. "Status of the Lysaris project?" she asked without preamble. Patterson consulted his classified files. "All research data successfully evacuated and secured. Genetic samples, technological blueprints, and strategic intelligence gathered over 15 years of contact with alien civilizations are being processed by our best scientists. We're not just rebuilding what we lost, Madam President. We're evolving into something new, and our assets in alien space? The sleeper network is fully operational. Agent Phoenix has successfully infiltrated the Altarian military command structure. Agent Wraith has gained access to hegemony strategic databases. Agent Shadow has compromised Zephyrian communication networks at the highest levels. The aliens think they banished all humans from their space, but we have operatives watching their every move." Clark nodded with grim approval. "Timeline for Phase 2 operations?" 18 months for complete preparation," Patterson replied. "The aliens wanted us gone because they feared human adaptability and innovation. They're about to learn that their fears were completely justified. On Luna, humanity's moon, Commander Pete Anderson oversaw the most secret project in human history. Deep beneath the lunar surface, construction teams worked around the clock-building ships that would have seemed like magic to earlier generations of humans. The vessels taking shape in the hidden shipyards incorporated technology that had been carefully studied and reverse-engineered from alien sources over years of seemingly peaceful contact. Status report on the first squadron. Anderson requested from his chief engineer. Maria Santos checked her construction schedules with barely contained excitement. The lead ships will be ready for testing within 4 weeks. Stealth capabilities exceed our most optimistic projections. Alien sensors won't be able to detect them even at close range. The new human ships were works of art and weapons of war rolled into one. Their hulls were made from exotic matter composites that bent light around them, making them effectively invisible. Their engines drew power from controlled exotic matter reactions that produced more energy than entire alien fleets. Their weapons could punch through the heaviest alien armor like it was paper, but the most revolutionary feature was their communication system. Each ship was linked to the others through quantum entanglement networks that allowed instant coordination across any distance. Where alien fleets were like separate fingers trying to work together, human fleets would operate like a single hand with perfect coordination. Anderson walked through the construction bay, watching human engineers and technicians work alongside advanced manufacturing systems. These people had lost homes, friends, and family members during the forced evacuation. Their motivation came not from orders or patriotic duty, but from a deep desire to make sure no human ever faced exile again. "When do we tell the aliens we're coming back?" asked Santos. Anderson smiled coldly. "We don't tell them anything, we show them." In secure facilities around Earth's solar system, similar projects move forward at maximum speed. Weapons researchers work to turn exotic matter into devastating ship-to-ship weapons. Communication specialists built the quantum network that would link human forces across the galaxy. Intelligence analysts processed terabytes of data. Collected by sleeper agents in alien space, the most important work happened in the genetics laboratories where human scientists studied alien biology with an attention to detail that would have shocked their former allies. Every alien species had weaknesses that could be exploited. Every alien technology had flaws that could be turned against its creators. Dr. Foster presented her latest findings to President Clark in a briefing that would have terrified the Galactic Council. "We've identified critical vulnerabilities in 17 different alien species. Non-lethal biological agents that could disable their military forces without causing permanent harm to civilians. Electromagnetic pulses tuned to disrupt their nervous systems. Sonic weapons that exploit their hearing ranges. The goal is still to minimize civilian casualties?" Clark asked. "Absolutely, we're not trying to commit genocide. We're planning to demonstrate overwhelming superiority while offering reasonable terms for coexistence. But if they refuse to negotiate, we have options that will end any conflict quickly and decisively." As Earth's defenses grew stronger and human technology advanced beyond anything the galaxy had seen, the aliens who had voted for humanity's exile continued their normal lives. They believed the human problem was solved. Their intelligence services reported no unusual activity in Earth's solar system. Their long-range sensors detected only the expected levels of human space traffic. They had no idea that humanity was preparing to return to galactic civilization as its new dominant species. The exile that was supposed to contain human expansion had instead given humanity the time, motivation, and freedom needed to transcend every limitation their enemies had tried to impose. In 18 months, the galaxy would discover that banishing humanity had been the greatest strategic mistake in galactic history. The species that had survived ice ages, plagues, and world wars was about to teach 47 alien civilizations a lesson they would never forget. 22 months after humanity's exile, emergency alarms screamed across the Galactic Council station. In the crystal chamber where 47 species had once voted to banish humans from civilized space, Panic filled the air like a toxic gas. Representatives who had felt so confident in their decision now scrambled to understand reports flooding in from every corner of their territories. Chancellor Vexhias' forearms shook as he read intelligence briefings that made no sense. His stone-like skin had turned pale gray with fear. This cannot be happening. Our monitoring stations confirmed complete human withdrawal beyond the outer rim. There are no human ships in council space. The Zephyrian ambassador's gaseous form flickered with agitation inside her containment suit. Musical tones that should have been calm and measured now sounded like a broken orchestra. 12 of our deep space mining operations have gone silent in the past week. Long-range sensors detect massive energy signatures at each location, but no ships, no attackers, nothing. Elder Thalmos of the ancient Kepler Collective spoke in tones heavy with confusion and growing fear. The attacks began simultaneously across 17 different star systems. Military installations, communication hubs, and resource centers. Hit with precision that should be impossible. No civilian casualties reported, but our defensive capabilities have been completely disabled. What none of the alien representatives understood was that humanity had not simply retreated and rebuilt after their exile. They had evolved into something far beyond what any of them had imagined possible. The forced evacuation had united human factions that had been scattered across hundreds of worlds. The shared trauma of losing their homes had forged Earth's children into something harder, smarter, and infinitely more dangerous than before. Captain Rick Stone commanded the lead vessel of Phantom Squadron, humanity's first fully operational stealth warship. His ship was invisible to alien sensors and armed with weapons that could crack a small moon in half. Built with exotic matter technology and crewed by volunteers who had lost family during the evacuation, the vessel represented everything humans had learned about war and technology in 22 months of focused preparation. Target acquired, reported Lieutenant Amy Parker from her tactical station. Hegemony listening post Victor 7. Standard crew complement of 64 aliens. No defensive weapons that could threaten us, Stone nodded calmly. His crew had practiced this type of operation hundreds of times in simulation. Execute standard extraction protocol. Disable their communications, secure the facility, download all intelligence data. No casualties unless they actively resist with weapons. The attack lasted exactly 4 minutes and 17 seconds. The alien defenders never saw what hit them. One moment their sensors showed empty space around their station. The next moment their weapon systems were offline and their communications were cut. Armored humans seemed to appear from nowhere, moving through the facility like ghosts with technology that made them faster and stronger than any alien species. The human soldiers were polite but absolutely efficient. They secured every alien crew member without injury, downloaded terabytes of strategic data from the station computers, and left behind a simple message in perfect hegemony language. Humanity sends greetings. Similar scenes played out across alien space as humanity's new military doctrine took effect. Swift surgical strikes designed to blind and confuse rather than destroy. The humans were not seeking immediate revenge for their exile. They were gathering intelligence and demonstrating capabilities that would reshape the balance of power in the galaxy. On Earth, Admiral Patterson reviewed mission reports with quiet satisfaction. Numbers scrolled across his displays showing the success of Operation Reconnaissance. 73 facilities penetrated without a single human casualty. Our stealth technology is performing beyond all specifications. The aliens have no idea what hit them. President Clark studied the tactical displays with the expression of a chess master watching her opponent realize they had been trapped. What about alien response patterns? General Cooper consulted his intelligence summaries, confused and completely scattered. They're attributing the attacks to unknown raiders, possibly rogue elements from species they conquered in the past. The possibility that humans could penetrate their core territories without detection seems to have never occurred to them. Dr. Davis joined the briefing through a holographic connection from her research facility. Her excitement was barely contained as she reported on the quantum communication network that now linked human forces across the galaxy. The system is performing flawlessly. Our agents in alien space can coordinate in real time without any possibility of interception. We have complete situational awareness of alien military movements across their entire civilization. Recommendations for Phase 3 operations? Clark asked. Patterson's smile carried the cold satisfaction of a predator that had been hunting its prey for months. It's time to remind them who they're dealing with, Madam President. Operation Homecoming is ready for full deployment. In the depths of space beyond the Outer Rim, the largest human fleet in history prepared for operations that would change galactic civilization forever. 2,000 ships strong and armed with technology that surpassed anything the Galactic Council possessed, they represented humanity's answer to exile and oppression. Every vessel was crewed by people who remembered being forced from their homes, who had lost friends and family to alien aggression during the evacuation. The fleet included ships of every class and purpose. Stealth fighters that could penetrate any defense. Battleships armed with exotic matter weapons that could destroy entire fleets. Support vessels carrying advanced communication equipment that linked every human force across the galaxy. Transport ships filled with the technologies and personnel needed to establish permanent human presence in alien space. But the most important ships in the fleet were the command vessels carrying the deep cover agents who had spent 22 months infiltrating alien governments, military forces, and communication networks. These humans had risked everything to gather intelligence and establish networks that would make the coming operation possible. Agent Phoenix transmitted her final report from deep within Altarian space. Military command structure completely mapped. Defensive protocols identified and countermeasures prepared. Ready to disable planetary defense systems on your signal. Agent Wraith confirmed similar preparations throughout hegemony territory. Strategic databases accessed and copied. Fleet movement patterns analyzed. Enemy response capabilities reduced by 70% through selective equipment failures. Agent Shadow reported from the heart of Zephyrian civilization. Communication networks compromised at all levels. When you begin operations, they will be unable to coordinate defensive responses between star systems. The aliens had wanted humanity gone because they feared human unpredictability, technological adaptability, and refusal to accept limitations imposed by others. They had been absolutely right to fear these traits, but their solution had been catastrophically wrong. Instead of containing the human threat, Exile had given humanity the motivation and freedom needed to transcend every limitation the galaxy had tried to impose. The species that had survived ice ages, plague years, and world wars was about to demonstrate that their greatest strength was not just surviving adversity, but using it as fuel for evolution into something far more powerful than before. The galaxy was about to discover that humanity's 22-month absence had not been a retreat. It had been preparation for their return as the dominant force in galactic civilization. The first sign that everything had changed came when every alien communication network across the galaxy received the same message at exactly the same instant. This should have been impossible according to their understanding of physics, but a quantum transmission reached every world, every ship, and every listening post simultaneously across hundreds of thousands of light years. Admiral Jake Morrison's face appeared on screens throughout the Galactic Council chamber. He looked exactly the same as he had 22 months earlier during humanity's exile, complete with the same slight smile that had puzzled alien observers. His weathered features and calm expression carried an undertone of absolute confidence that made several alien representatives step backward in fear. "Greetings, members of the Galactic Council," Morrison began, his voice carrying clearly through universal translators in dozens of alien languages. "Allow me to properly introduce myself. I am Admiral Morrison, representing the United Terran Federation, and I bring you greetings from the 2 billion humans you believed you had successfully banished from civilized space." Chaos erupted throughout the chamber as alien representatives realized what they were witnessing. Real-time communication across galactic distances was theoretically possible but practically impossible with current technology. Yet here was undeniable proof that humanity had not simply survived their exile, but had somehow transcended the physical limitations that governed space travel and communication. 22 months ago, you voted unanimously to exile humanity because you feared our potential for chaos and change. Morrison continued, his tone remaining conversational despite the revolutionary implications of his words. I want you to know that you were absolutely right to be afraid, but for reasons that none of you could possibly have imagined. The display behind Morrison shifted to show tactical readouts that revealed the positions of human fleets throughout galactic space. Every major star system, every strategic resource center, every military installation was highlighted with targeting solutions and approach vectors, calculated with impossible precision. During our enforced absence, we had time to think, to plan, and to prepare for this moment, Morrison explained with the patience of a teacher addressing slow students. We studied your weaknesses, mapped every inch of your territories, and placed assets exactly where we needed them most. The mining operations you thought were abandoned, the research stations you believed empty, the trade routes you assumed were clear of human presence were all part of a much larger design. Chancellor Vexhai found his voice, though all four of. His arms trembled with a mixture of rage and terror. This is an illegal act of war against the entire galactic community. The combined might of 47 civilized species will not tolerate this aggression. Morrison's smile widened slightly, and the expression sent chills through every alien in the chamber. A war implies two opposing forces with roughly equal capabilities, Chancellor. What you are witnessing is not war but a demonstration of what happens when you underestimate human determination and ingenuity. The display changed again, showing real-time video feeds from alien military installations across 17 different star systems. In each location, human forces had simultaneously appeared inside supposedly impregnable defensive positions. Their advanced stealth technology had allowed them to materialize directly within alien command centers, weapon storage facilities, and communication hubs. At this moment, your weapon systems are offline throughout your territories, Morrison announced with calm authority. Your communication networks are under our complete control. Your strategic databases have been accessed, copied, and analyzed. Your fleets cannot move without our permission. Yet despite having absolute tactical superiority, we have not fired a single shot at your personnel. Consider that restraint a gift and proof that humanity can show mercy even when holding overwhelming power. Captain Rick Stone stood in the command center of the Altarian Defense Fortress, the most heavily defended military installation in that sector of space. Around him, alien military personnel sat frozen at their control stations, their advanced weapon systems locked out by quantum viruses that had infected every computer network simultaneously. Your terms for ending this demonstration are simple and non-negotiable. Morrison continued, his broadcast reaching every corner of civilized space. Humanity will immediately reclaim every world, facility, and resource that belonged to us before your illegal exile. Full reparations will be paid for the lives lost during our forced evacuation. Most importantly, the Galactic Council will formally recognize human sovereignty and grant us a permanent seat with full voting rights and veto power over any decisions affecting human interest. The Zephyrian ambassador's gaseous form pulsed with desperate anger as she tried to maintain some semblance of authority. You cannot threaten the entire galaxy with your human arrogance. 47 species will never submit to the demands of a single aggressive race that refuses to follow civilized standards. The combined might of 47 species has already been neutralized, Morrison replied with the patience of someone explaining simple facts to children. Every major military asset, strategic resource, and communication hub in Council space is currently under direct human control. Your governments cannot communicate without our knowledge. Your economies cannot function without our approval. Your fleets cannot move without our permission. Elder Thalmos spoke in tones heavy with defeat and the dawning realization of how completely his people had been outmaneuvered. How long have you been planning this operation? Morrison's expression grew slightly more serious. Since the day we made first contact with your civilizations 50 years ago, humanity learned long ago that peace must be backed by strength, and strength must be backed by careful preparation. You feared our adaptability, our technological innovation, and our refusal to submit to arbitrary authority imposed by others. You were absolutely correct to fear these traits. The transmission shifted one final time to show the massive human fleet emerging from quantum stealth at the edge of the Nexus Prime system. 2,000 ships of unprecedented design and capability hung in space like a constellation of new stars, their exotic matter reactors burning with energy signatures that dwarfed entire alien fleets. You have 24 standard hours to consider our terms, Morrison announced with finality. After that deadline expires, we will begin systematic occupation of every Council world until our rightful place in galactic civilization is recognized and restored. Unlike your exile of humanity, our occupation will be conducted with minimal civilian casualties and maximum efficiency. The transmission ended, leaving the Council chamber in stunned silence broken only by the sound of alien breathing, apparatus and the hum of life support systems. 20-3 hours later. After frantic consultations between 47 terrified governments, the Galactic Council voted unanimously to accept every human demand without modification or delay. The species that had tried to exile Earth discovered that humanity's greatest strength was not violence or aggression, but the ability to transform every setback into preparation for greater success. They had feared human potential and tried to contain it through banishment. Instead, they had given humanity the motivation, time, and freedom necessary to evolve beyond every limitation the galaxy had tried to impose. The age of human leadership in galactic civilization had begun, and no one would ever again dare to underestimate what humans could accomplish when their survival was threatened.